This is Jazza. He's kind of like, the way I would describe him is he's like, I don't know if you guys ever saw the show Art Attack, but he's like YouTube Art Attack. And he seems very friendly and he seems very nice. I've never interacted with him, but he tends to be a very positive dude. I do want to let him do his introduction because I don't want to misrepresent anything that he's saying, so we're just going to work our way through this. So we'll take our time.
You may have noticed this is a long video. You see, I've made more AI art videos than most, from way back before DALL-E 2 and Midjourney and all of that stuff. Does anyone remember Google Auto Draw? Oh, remember when that was considered AI art? What an innocent time. Now, about a month ago, my brother Shad of Shadiversity and I were at a family dinner and we started talking about AI art, and he started showing me some of the stuff he's been doing, which blew my mind, and we were just like absolutely highly opinionatedly debating and getting excited and talking about all this stuff, and we thought we should make a video out of this. So we did, and this is that video. However, in the original recording of this video, we did go into a lot of our opinions and really get fired up and talk a lot about that stuff. But in the course of post-production and amongst debates with my team, it's become really apparent that the practical things we share and go through and guide people through, and the conversation as a whole about AI art, its impact, the ethics, what ownership is, where it's going, is a whole different thing, and it needs more voices, a very reasoned approach, and a lot of research. So in this video, Shad and I are going to show you how you can use AI as it currently stands, specifically with the open source software Stable Diffusion and the locally installed version of that. How you can use that to conceptualize and improve your artworks, no matter what level you are at as an artist, to elevate your work, to not work against AI, but with AI to elevate your creativity. However, I have a responsibility as someone with one of the largest community of artists watching what I do and how I talk about it, to do this the right way. So I'm separating that. At the end of the video, I'm going to share my current opinion on AI art. It's marked in the chapters section, as are all the other things in this video. But if you want to hear my current opinion, please go check that out. The reason I suggest that is because I want to hear your opinion and I want to hear your thoughts and experiences and your outlook on this in the comments down below. So I hope you enjoy this video, which is a guide through using AI to elevate your art. And my team and I really look forward to seeing your thoughts and opinions and comments down in the comments. Please be constructive, and I promise I will endeavor to do the same. It's the reason I'm approaching this way, because I want even the people who are scared are going to be negatively impacted to have a voice in this, as much as people who, like my brother and I, are extremely excited to see a lot of the good and potential it can do. So that's a conversation for another day. Please start engaging with me in that. I really look forward to having that conversation with you. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy this video of my brother and I getting very excited about using AI to make cool art.
All right, so that was his intro, and I did want to make it clear because I am going to start jumping around the video just a little bit because most of the intro I'm not too concerned about. I think it is important that if you're going to discuss AI that you kind of understand how it works, or that you've tested it or tried to use it yourself. I've played with it a little bit. I don't find it that appealing personally. I think there are things that I could see myself using it for, and things that I think I could use, I would benefit from as somebody who does the style of art that I do. There are certainly things that I'm not as good at and I need to practice more, and so having access to something that will either allow me to do that or help me conceptualize what I'm trying to do that I can then work with and manipulate and mess with a little bit more to not only improve the end piece but also improve my capabilities as an artist, I think is great. I'm all for that kind of stuff. However, it's, again, I don't think the end product is the problem. I think that the ethical sourcing initially is where this conversation needs to, is going to shine and needs to come through. So I'm going to skip their introduction with each other, and then we're going to look at the art transformation, right? So let's take a look from here, and you can kind of see the gradient across. So let's see what they have to say.
your art through iterations of using AI to get to this, entirely based on your initial drawing.
Yeah, so if we have a look back, right, I am producing more graphic novels based on this as the first one, and one of them is going to be a space opera kind of sci-fi with similarity to Star Wars, and this was just a concept piece that I drew. So I drew this from scratch, and look, it's not phenomenal. I would consider it average, okay, but it conveys the design well enough. And so I want
honestly a little bit more work in the face, and this would have a very like Winx style look to it, but I don't think that's the style that he wants. Like, I don't think that's the style he's going for. So that's really too bad, because I think you could actually probably take that and take it in another direction that is more akin to your capabilities and your style, and end up with something very unique and interesting, instead of something that I think is going to turn out kind of a little bit more generic. Which is sad to me. I think one of the things that breeds creativity and one of the things that breeds innovation is working around what you're good at and working around what you're bad at. So leaning into the things that you're good at and dealing with problems, like like Yoshi's Island, for example. The art in Yoshi's Island is fucking amazing. It came out on the SNES. Like, it was incredibly limited in its color palette, what it was capable of doing, the amount of graphical design it was capable of, but it is, to this day, one of the best looking games. Like, it stands up now. So that you can succeed through adversity, right? That's part of being an artist, is adversity. And I couldn't tell you anything that is more akin to art than attempting to succeed through adversity, as I would probably, if I was to get on a pedestal, say that society kind of likes to kick us the fuck out. Which is really weird, because where do you think fucking culture comes from? It comes from art. Whether it be drawn art, whether it be singing, whether it be dancing, songs, folk songs, yada 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 yada, take your pick, body paint. It's art. Culture comes from art. And so when you kick all your artists to the fringes of society and start wondering why the fuck is our culture collapsing, and it's because you don't have anybody fucking maintaining it. You kicked everybody who was maintaining it or creating it or developing it the fuck out. Stop treating us like shit. Is that really too much to ask? Yeah, of course it is.
to see if the AI could take that and improve it.
There are multiple different versions that look very similar, but they're all different shading, different rendering. Look at the hair on each of them. Obviously this one got caught in the vortex, but then like over here, like just the way it's interpreting really.
Don't look at the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's her thumb? She's got 5 fingies, which means there's a thumb down there somewhere. So even this, when it was coming out, is still got fucking problems. It looks great on a glance, but look at the eye. Right? There's no... It's not complete. This is rendering into itself, but like ignoring this, again, getting too caught up in that AI art isn't great or isn't capable of doing what a team of people or an individual can do isn't really an argument against it. It's just a almost arguably a petty complaint about the fact that it's still in its infancy. And that will go away eventually. It will get better, and then it will, the matter will be, or the question will be, is will you be able to recognize it? I don't know. Maybe. Or do you think it ought to be a requirement that it like says on the box? Right? So the same way you would say this game was created in the Unreal Engine.
Really chaotic, organically designed material like hair to your illustration and giving you different versions of that, some better, some worse. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, what you did was took the best piece from hundreds of prompts and sort of mashed them together.
Not so much in this one. There was a couple of things that I did, because this is where I was learning how to do it. So what I really liked about this last one, this was the only ones that gave me the belt. See the belt here? How it has the pouches and the thing? That was closer to what I was wanting out of the design, because if you go back to the original sketch, you'll see
as an artist, it's really easy to pick on everything about the anatomy. Literally everything about the anatomy. And that's not to mean I'm not the, oh my god, where are her organs? That's not what I mean, because that was clearly in the initial design. On the one on the left, you can see where, like, her thigh and her butt cheek are kind of sticking out a little bit, but then her skirt is, like, flowing out, whereas the AI interpreted that whole part as her ass, which basically means that she's starting to turn into a centaur. Like, if you... right... I don't know if... Yeah, you can see my mouse. Right here, it's not that she's leaning, it's that her butt is starting to, like, form this direction entirely. And that's ignoring this and that and these things and whatever that is. Like, there's problems, but her entire body on the top half needs to be shifted about 3 centimeters to the left, maybe, give or take. But again, it's really easy to pick on AI art for not being able to produce, like, something passable. And we'll get to talking about what is and is not passable and why something is acceptable. Like, the Linkin Park AI music video that came out, unacceptable. Like, just, that's not, you can't, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad, and they're trying to bullshit and sell it on the idea that, well, but it's supposed to be like a dreamlike state, and because it's supposed to be like a dreamlike state, it's supposed to look confusing and weird, and it's like, no, it's not that it's confusing and weird, it's that it's incomprehensible, and some of it goes by so fast that you're like, I don't understand what I just fucking witnessed. What am I looking at? And then as you start to, like, slow it down and look at it, it's like, oh no, oh boy. And it's things that you are supposed to be able to interpret, not things that are just kind of, oh, Alice in Wonderland weird. But an analysis on that. Let me know if you want me to do an actual, like, analysis of that type of, like, actually look at a full video and kind of go through it.
The belt is like a shield generating device,
Yeah.
and the AI was having trouble sticking to that design. And so I had an idea, well, hang on, some of the other images I generated, which were wrong, had correct hands and feet. And so I cut out the hands and feet from those, stuck it on that, put it through the AI again to just connect it all together, and told it to not change the image too much, because you can actually tell the AI how much you want it to change or not, and then it fused it together to give us a final result. And it was like,
it's
okay.
incredible. But the risky thing is, and like you will have seen in the thumbnail, like there's a before and after, and it makes it look like this magic button you press, but it's much more layered and complex than
Oh
that.
yeah, it's when I needed for it to stick to a strict design is when I realized, discovered you need to do a lot more work to get the final result. The AI struggles with specificity. If you give it general things and you're happy with the freedom, like concepting, that's fine, like the artwork we showed. But as soon as you want it to do something specific, that's where suddenly you need to really knuckle down and understand the program. And so if we go to the next one.
So I'm not going to sit here and have him explain the next one. What we're going to do is I'm just going to mute him. I'm going to let him play while I talk a little bit, and we can kind of look at it. So this is his initial art. And this is one of the things that I'm a little bit concerned about when it comes to AI art. His initial art is not bad. It's not bad. The anatomy is fine, although stylized. There's not a problem with that. The angles are fine. I mean, the muscles are a little bit overdone, but like it's not perfect, but it is decent art. Like, it is not bad. And so my concern is you have an artist who is not producing bad art by any means, but is still in the process of development, is going to stop developing their skill and rely on AI art, which, let's assume, Let's assume that it is ethically sourced. Let's assume that we have an AI art bot that is all of the art that it has learned from, it has been bought and paid for, and they do actually own all of that art. Great, let's make that assumption. You still now have an artist who otherwise would have developed a skill that would have been completely unique to them, no longer developing that skill, which means we all lose. Because now none of us get access to that skill that they have, including the bot, who, had they developed their skills, may have paid them for, or may have gotten art to then add to the bot. And I'm concerned that there are people who otherwise would be amazing artists are going to accidentally end up using, or incidentally end up using AI as such an incredible crutch that they're never actually finished developing as an artist. Now you're allowed to pick and choose, and that'll be a personal decision that people are going to be allowed to make, but I just think it's a sad one. And the thing is like the AI, like, look at what it comes out with. It's so generic compared to what he had, where, like, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to me. Because, like, look at them. And I appreciate that they're having fun, and it's really nice to be able to see, like, your concept and what you want come to fruition, and what you see in your mind actually being produced on a piece of paper or digitally on a screen. And I empathize with that. I'm not very good at empathy, but I recognize that. I understand this. But it's just something about this is a little bit sad. And I think that there's something in the process that gets lost. And to be fair, I mean, I can understand wanting to see your stuff and not having the time to put towards developing that. Right? Like, I can understand saying, like, well, I'm bad at art and I just want to see what my D&D character looks like, or I'm bad at art and I just want to see what this idea would look like. You don't need to steal from other people to do it, but also not everybody has time to do everything. You kind of need to make decisions in your life, because at the end of the day, it's likely that you would be able to produce this. If you wanted to produce this piece of artwork, like the exact one that the AI popped out, on your own, you could do it. Like, you could do it. But it would take you a lot of time and effort. The time and effort that you are taking from other artists who have made that sacrifice, right? Whenever you want to be proficient at something, you're sacrificing being proficient at something else. Because you only have so much time and so much energy. Your time is a resource, right? Your brain power is a resource. I'm not an athlete, right? I didn't spend my time developing myself into an athlete. I spent my time on art stuff. And both of them are incredibly risky choices to make, and are difficult to maintain and develop and garner an art audience and yada yada and make money to do, right? So to survive, right? You can, I mean, the risk and reward for an athlete is incredibly high. Like, you might be able to succeed, but if and when you do succeed, who knows when you're going to get injured, and that's only even in particular sports. It's the same thing in art. There are some art styles that are currently more popular than others. There are trends to what people like in art and where it goes and what it does. And so if you develop one kind of style and you start, or your own style, and it tends to lean into this type of artwork, there are going to be times where it's more popular or less popular. And there are going to be those handful of artists that make crazy amounts of money, and good, they should. But you're not spending time being an expert programmer or an expert plumber. So it makes sense that I'm not an expert programmer because I haven't spent the time developing those tools. But the expert programmer doesn't have the tools to do art either. And that's the give and take. functions.
This is what it's called. It's actually modern Disney style. So if I did that and put the prompt in, it would give us results looking a bit like Pixar. But then if I use the superhero diffusion, that would give me results because it's drawing its understanding of the image from a wealth of resources, and then you train the AI to be able to work with it. And so this one is.
And I think that they probably, this is the part that Jazza was talking about, where they're talking about what it's capable of, not the ethics in the conversation, because they just completely breeze over that they pull from this wealth of knowledge and then you train the AI on how to work with it. Oh yeah, where are you getting that wealth of art from? It's just magic. It just comes from nowhere. It's magic, guys. Guys, it's magic. Don't worry about it. Don't ask these kinds of questions.
Is like comic
How
book
dare you.
images. I put myself into the AI, and that was the result using the comic book diffusion model. Okay.
Where's the original? Show us the original.
The original image of me.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm actually standing on a wooden platform,
okay.
and I was posing for some just thumbnail shots and things.
Yeah.
And so with that one, using the comic diffusion, I got
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
Wasn't bad. But then if I use the modern Disney one, check this out. Whoa! That's modern Disney.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in the first two, or like he had those two photos that he put in, the first one that they showed, he completely lost all characteristics that made him look, but he's definitely like a Kristoff.
So I have a Word document where I save all my prompts.
And the brackets serve a function because you've got double
Yes.
brackets masterpiece.
Yes, so brackets tells the AI to focus on that. And if it doesn't give it strong enough, you can do additional brackets to make it focus on that even more.
Yeah.
And so
Really?
So this is something that I think is really interesting about AI, is that you're putting prompts in the same way you would prompt a Google search, right? However, if you have saved your prompts, which I think is an effective or an efficient way, and I think that's what people are going to do, there's a difference between getting consistency and getting the same thing over and over and over again. And when you start getting the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to lose, right? And so you're going to have to, if you are somebody who's wanting to learn and wanting to do AI, you're going to have to learn how to balance what your prompts are and balance using your prompts in an efficient way, but also in a way that gives you enough room to still come up with something unique.
Yeah,
That's so
you can
cool.
tell it to emulate certain art styles.
So you're saying like the blue breastplate, armor, large white cross on chest. So you're like double bracketing to be like, this
Yes.
exists in the artwork.
You can also tell it to emulate artists, because there's artists online that do these, and so one artist that I really like, he does incredible coloring, and I do this so the AI will reflect that coloring, and that is Stanley Liu or Art German.
Modern Disney style.
This is important.
And again, you can tell there was a cut there, because did those artists say, yeah, use my work? Did those artists say, yeah, sure, copy me? Yeah, I don't care if you rip me off for your fucking online comic book that you want to make so badly, but not badly enough to invest money in. There's something to be said about how discouraging and how blatant a lot of like the excitement is for just how excited people are to just shit on other people. And I'm not gonna say these guys are bad guys. They're clearly having fun. They're clearly learning about it and exploring what it's capable of. And they have specified that they're not having the ethical conversation right now. But I find it hard to be that excited when I know I'm ripping somebody off. And it's not even like you're ripping off artists. You're not saying, oh, I'm taking from so much artwork that it is not possible about any particular artist. It's just like this nebulous concept of people who have done art throughout history. No, you're ripping off a specific individual, like two specific individuals that you named in your prompt that you have saved in a Word document. And like that's disturbing.
Interesting. So, and that's the first thing you put in.
Yeah.
Atmospheric scene. Do we need that? Because I mean, we'll keep it.
We'll
keep it the
see
same.
what it does.
Digital painting,
first-
breathtaking.
Yeah, but it has night. So the first one was like, we want a night,
Okay.
then atmospheric scene, digital
Smooth,
painting.
sharp focus, 4K eyes. What is detailed face 1.4?
Okay, so there are there's an extension that you can add that when you put in a prompt, it tells you what the most common prompts are based on the website that people use. And that one was just from a website as like, all right, whatever, doing it because it's popular, people use it, and it works.
8K.
It's like magic. It's popular. People use it, and it works. Okay.
Eyes. So you're telling it to sort of do a good job with the
Detailed
face.
eyes.
Face focus. Castle. So there's multiple prompts that are saying, don't do a crappy face, please.
Yes.
Like he
Castle
clearly
in the
has
background.
no
You don't
idea.
need that
You can get rid of wearing red breastplate.
and large sword.
All right, so there is an okay prompt. I put a comma at the last one because that completes it. Okay.
Does it? Why?
I make sure I always have a comma because the autocomplete, when you click on autocomplete, it always adds the comma.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, and so
Generate.
now remember, we're
So
giving that
if
very little freedom, and so it's actually not going to change the image too much, but we can see what it does.
Okay. Not amazing. Yours was better. So now you're
Opposite end.
flipping both.
Now this could give us a mutated mess, or
Yeah.
we'll see.
You've used this a few times to know that, I'm assuming.
Ugh. God, nasty.